The 7 most terrifying and cursed places in the world. Have you ever heard of places so frightening that just the thought of visiting them makes your blood run cold? These are not stories from movies or fictional tales. These places are real and bear witness to gruesome events, tragic deaths, and unexplained mysteries. Some people swear they have felt an evil presence or heard whispers from beyond at these locations. Let's take a journey to the 7 most terrifying and cursed places in the world, where evil seems to be embedded in the walls, the ground, and the air. Prepare yourself for a journey into the darkest corners of humanity. Each of these places holds terrible secrets, negative energies, and disturbing stories. And what's even scarier is that despite being in ruins or abandoned, the sense of terror is still very real for those who dare to explore them. Number 7. The Byberry Mental Hospital, a living hell on earth. Imagine a place where human suffering reached unimaginable levels. This is the legacy left behind by the Byberry Mental Hospital in Philadelphia, USA. Opened in 1907, the psychiatric hospital quickly gained notoriety for its brutal and inhumane conditions. Originally designed as a solution to overcrowded psychiatric facilities, Byberry soon became overcrowded itself, with over 7,000 patients living in conditions worse than prisons. Patients were often found lying in their own filth, strapped to rusty beds, and covered in open wounds infested with maggots. Reports from the 1940s and 1950s revealed widespread abuse, with many patients subjected to horrific experiments, including unauthorized lobotomies. The hospital became infamous in 1946 when a series of photos were published by Life magazine, exposing the appalling conditions. The images shocked the nation, showing naked and emaciated patients wandering in filth. There were also reports of sexual abuse, psychological torture, and patients being treated worse than animals. Even after the hospital's closure in 1990, the site was said to be haunted by the souls of those who suffered there. Witnesses claimed to hear distant screams and see shadowy figures roaming the grounds long after the hospital was abandoned. In 2006, the buildings were demolished, yet Byberry's dark reputation still lingers in Philadelphia. Locals avoid discussing the place, as if even mentioning its name could attract something sinister. The story of Byberry remains a chilling reminder of the horrors that can occur in places meant for care. Number 6. The Akadesawa Fetish Market, the Kingdom of Dark Magic. Located in Lomé, Togo, the Akadesawa Fetish Market is one of the most bizarre and unsettling places in the world. For locals, it is a sacred center where everything related to voodoo and black magic can be found. The market is filled with items like human skulls, dried animal parts, and talismans believed to hold powerful spiritual forces. Established in the early 20th century, this market has become a hub for traditional healers and practitioners of African spiritual traditions. It's also where those in search of powerful rituals and cures can meet voodoo priests and practitioners offering their services. But this market is not just a tourist attraction. It's a place where black magic is taken very seriously. For those involved, voodoo is not a game. It's a way of life deeply embedded in the culture of West Africa. The objects sold here are believed to possess real power, capable of invoking spirits, both benevolent and malevolent. Many who visit Akadesawa believe that interacting with these items can open doors to realms best left untouched. Even today, stories circulate about those who purchased items there and later experienced unexplained tragedies or were plagued by bad luck. Number 5. The Sedlec Zara, a macabre work of art. In the Czech Republic lies the Sedlec Ossuary, a small chapel unlike any other. This chapel is not just a place of worship, it is decorated with the bones of over 40,000 people. The story of how this came to be is both fascinating and macabre. In 1278, the abbot of the Sedlec monastery was sent to Jerusalem, and upon his return, he brought back a handful of soil from Golgotha, the site of Jesus' crucifixion. He scattered the soil across the Abbey Cemetery, making it a highly desirable burial site. Over the centuries, thousands of people requested to be buried there, leading to overcrowding. By the 16th century, the cemetery was full, and the remains of thousands of people were exhumed to make space. These bones were later arranged into intricate decorations, transforming the ossuary into what it is today. The task of arranging the bones fell to a woodcarver named František Rint in 1870. Rint used bones to create everything from chandeliers to coats of arms, turning the chapel into a chilling yet mesmerizing spectacle. Visitors describe the atmosphere as haunting, with an almost palpable energy in the air. Some say it feels as if the souls of those whose bones were used still linger, watching the living who dare enter their final resting place. The Sedlec ossuary stands as a striking blend of faith and death, where the sacred meets the macabre. Number 4. Poveglia Island, the cradle of lost souls. Just off the coast of Venice, Italy, lies Poveglia, an island with a dark and tragic history. During the Black Plague in the 14th century, the island was used as a quarantine site for infected people. Thousands were sent there to die, their bodies piled and burned in mass graves. It's estimated that over 160,000 people met their end on Poveglia. The island's soil is said to be composed of human ashes, a grim testament to its history. In the 20th century, the island's history took another dark turn when it became home to a psychiatric hospital. The hospital, operating from 1922 to 1968, was rumored to be a place of torture where patients were subjected to cruel experiments. One of the most infamous stories involved the hospital's doctor, who allegedly performed lobotomies on patients using primitive tools. It's said that he was eventually driven mad by the spirits of those he tortured and ultimately jumped to his death from the hospital tower. Today, Poveglia is abandoned and off-limits to the public, although it occasionally draws the attention of ghost hunters and thrill seekers. Those who have visited report hearing wails in the wind, seeing ghostly apparitions, and feeling an overwhelming sense of dread. The island is widely regarded as one of the most haunted places in the world, and its eerie silence speaks volumes about the suffering endured there. Number 3. The Winchester Mansion, the Haunted Labyrinth. Located in San Jose, California, the Winchester Mansion is infamous for its bizarre architecture and eerie history. The mansion was built by Sarah Winchester, the widow of the inventor of the Winchester rifle, and its design is said to have been dictated by spirits. After losing her husband and child, Sarah sought the advice of a medium who told her that she was being haunted by the ghosts of those killed by Winchester rifles. To appease these spirits, Sarah was advised to build a house that could confuse and trap them. Construction on the mansion began in 1886 and continued non-stop for 38 years until Sarah's death in 1922. The result is a labyrinth of over 160 rooms, with staircases leading to nowhere, doors that open into walls, and windows overlooking other rooms. Sarah believed that these confusing designs would disorient the spirits and keep them from finding her. Today, the Winchester Mansion is a popular tourist attraction, and its reputation as a haunted house draws visitors from around the world. Many claim to have seen shadowy figures, heard disembodied voices, and felt cold spots in certain areas of the house. The mansion's story is a compelling mix of tragedy, mystery, and the supernatural, making it one of the most intriguing haunted locations in America. Number 2. The Ruins of Pompeii, the horror preserved in time. In 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius erupted, burying the prosperous Roman city of Pompeii under a thick layer of ash and pumice. The eruption was so sudden that many of the city's 11,000 residents were caught completely off guard, their bodies preserved in the exact positions they were in when they died. Archaeologists have uncovered haunting scenes, entire families frozen in time, their expressions of terror still visible. The ruins of Pompeii were rediscovered in the 18th century, and since then, they have offered a unique glimpse into life and death in the Roman Empire. The preserved bodies, cast in plaster, stand as a stark reminder of the tragedy that befell the city. Walking through the streets of Pompeii today is like stepping back in time, with the well-preserved buildings, mosaics, and frescoes offering a snapshot of daily life 2,000 years ago. But the ruins also carry an eerie atmosphere. Visitors often speak of a heavy, unsettling energy that permeates the site. Some claim to hear whispers or feel a presence, as if the souls of those who perished are still trapped there, unable to move on. Pompeii remains one of history's most tragic archaeological sites, where the horror of that fateful day is forever preserved. Number 1. The Tuol Sleng Genocide Museum, the testament of human evil. What was once a school in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, became one of the most horrifying places on Earth during the Khmer Rouge regime. The Tuol Sleng Genocide Museum, also known as S21, was a prison and interrogation center where an estimated 17,000 people were tortured and executed between 1975 and 1979. Under the command of Pol Pot, the Khmer Rouge sought to create an agrarian utopia, but in doing so, they carried out one of the deadliest genocides in modern history. 21 was a place of unimaginable suffering. Prisoners, including men, women, and children, were subjected to brutal interrogations, starvation, and horrific torture. The regime kept meticulous records of its atrocities. Photos, documents, and confessions extracted under duress are still displayed in the museum today. Out of the thousands who passed through S21, only 12 are known to have survived. Walking through the museum's corridors, visitors are confronted with the haunting faces of the victims, their eyes filled with despair. The cells remain as they were left, a chilling reminder of the cruelty that took place there. Many who visit Tulslang report feeling a deep sense of sorrow and hopelessness, as if the walls themselves bear witness to the horrors committed within. The museum stands as a grim reminder of the depths of human cruelty and the lasting scars of war. If you had the courage to read this far, I hope these stories stirred something in you, just as they still disturb those who dare to explore these places. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to leave a like and follow our channel.